and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we are here with the Adrenaline Pro World Heavyweight Champion and Nightfall Pacific Champion, Josh Redfield. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, no problem. I should have brought the heavyweight title up with me, but I didn't. That's back down home in Melbourne, so we got this one. We got the cool white one.
It's alright. You can't bring all the gold with you. You'll need, like, what, 5 bags?
Oh, I don't have that many titles. Calm down. I had 3 at one point, but now I only have 2 because I lost the Fightworks title 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, a couple of weeks ago.
That's all good. We'll get started anyway.
Absolutely.
So, what is your earliest memory of seeing professional wrestling?
My earliest memory, I would have been in grade 6. So I would have been about 12 years old. I was harassed by a friend of mine who was really big into the WWE. I never liked wrestling, hated wrestling. Every time they put it on in my house, I'd turn it off. Every time they put it on at their house, I'd leave. I just thought it was absolute violence that didn't need to happen. Until I was tricked by a friend of mine, and I was forced to basically sit down and watch an episode of SmackDown, which had The Undertaker on it, and I was like so captivated by what I was watching when it came to The Undertaker. And we had like highlights from Raw, where there was like Umaga is another one that I remember seeing pretty early on, and then John Cena, Shawn Michaels. So yeah, that's my earliest, 2007. Yeah, August 2007, because they were building to SummerSlam. So
Excellent. The return of Triple H.
Yes, yeah, Triple H against
King Booker.
Was it King Booker? No, Carlito. It was Carlito, Umaga, and Anderson or Kennedy in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title.
Yep, classic pay-per-view.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
And when did you decide that you were going to get into professional wrestling?
I think when I first, I think in 2007, I was like, I want to become a professional wrestler. I think it was something I wanted to do, but we're on an independent level, and at that point, I didn't think wrestling was in Australia. So it wasn't for another couple of years. Obviously, I did all the backyard stuff. I had my little backyard wrestling federation. We had all the championships, like the foam Jack's Pacific titles that they used to have. And but it wasn't until 2012 I actually went to my first local show. And I remember it was an MCW show at the Dragonfly, because a friend's dad's mate went to those shows all the time. He said, "Oh, you're into wrestling? Come check out this wrestling show." And I think in that moment, I watched. I'm trying to remember the match of the main. It was a main event. It was Elliot Sexton, who was known as Duke Hudson in the WWE, Jonah Rock, who is now Bronson Reed in the WWE, against Matt Silver, who is Buddy Murphy over in AEW, and Adam Brooks in a main event match for MCW. And I think at that moment, I sat there and went, I would love to do this. How do I actually get to do this? And then it wasn't until a couple of months later, and I started with NAW because they came to my hometown, and my mate was like, "Hey, my friend wants to become a wrestler," and they were like, "Oh, sweet, awesome. Well, come down to George's, and we'll go from there." And that was August of 2012.
So they were your original trainers?
My original trainers was George Julio, Mike Manson, and Jake Navarro, but back then he was known as Rhino Head.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you debut in wrestling?
Okay, so this is my first official match was October of 2012. I'd done my first training session at George's. I remember Manson coming up to me and he goes, "We've got a battle royal happening over in Colac for a Colac show we've got coming up in about a month and a half." He goes, "Do you want in on that if we think you're ready for it?" And I was like, "Yes." So I trained for a month, ended up in this battle royal. I was only in the match for 2 minutes. I remember that show because the battle royal started and everyone went at each other, and I'm like this very green new wrestler standing in the middle of the ring going, "I don't know what the I'm meant to be doing." And yeah, so that was my first, my official debut. If we're talking one-on-one matches, my first one-on-one match would have been for GPW in February of 2013 against Alexei Papadopoulos. But I also wrestled Joel Bateman in a Masters shopping center a week after my official debut. So that was interesting. Didn't expect to do that in my career, but
Well, you can say you're wrestling in a shopping center. So,
I have. I've wrestled in a shopping center. How cool is that?
yeah, that's like the debut of WCW Nitro.
Only if I was born 30 years earlier.
First few years in a wrestler's career are the most formative years. What did you learn in your time from New Age wrestling and Gippsland wrestling?
Um, See, it's really. I think my number one thing that I learned a lot when it came to my first couple of years was character work and how to work as not just a wrestler but a character in a wrestling ring. I did the super duper gimmick as a face for a good couple of years, but it wasn't until we took the chance and we turned me heel and I joined up with the Lunatic Militia, and at that time it was only Xavier Black and Paulie Thornton, and that's where I really got to flesh out character work. And I get a lot of compliments about how I work my character and how I interact with the crowd as a character. And a lot of that comes from Xavier Black. He taught me so much when it came to character work, and I will always be grateful that at that point in time he was 100% okay with taking a very new, excited wrestler under his wing to teach him how to work a character in the wrestling world. Um, so yeah, I'd say like NAW was a big influence on uh, me as a wrestler in general, both in very positives and negative ways. Uh, I think if I was given more opportunity, I could have flourished a lot more than what I did. But sometimes it takes people a couple of years, sometimes it takes people 10 years. Like it is what it is. But yeah, I think character work was the biggest thing that I learned in my first couple of years of wrestling. And I think that's like one of the most important things when it comes to wrestling is working with character. And so yeah, I'm happy with that. Out of all that.
All right, fans, the paper's back because you know me, I need to have all the details correct. All right, so in 2015, you will make your Queensland wrestling debut for Brisbane City Wrestling,
Yeah,
and then you would become the BCW champion
yeah.
in 2016.
hmm
In August of 2016 at BCW Madness, you would defend the BCW Championship in a triple threat match versus Damien Sin and Rebel.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that match?
I think it's one of my favorite triple threat matches that I've done in Queensland. I've done quite a few triple threat matches. I do remember my run as BCW champion because I know there was like this whole storyline, and then bits and pieces didn't really work, and then things got changed all the time. Um, but that match, I remember it was meant to, me and Rebel. Rebel was number one contender at the time, and Sin never got his rematch for the championship. So it was all just chuck the three of us together and let's have some fun times. I think we had some really. I wish I had footage of that match. I used to have all the footage of the old BCW stuff, but then I don't know where it's gone. It's on one of my old laptop, so it's really sad. But yeah, no, I actually had a lot of fun in that triple threat match. I think one of the favorite spots I did in that match was Sin got me up for a spine buster, but then bounced me off the ropes and then spun me into the move. And I remember sitting there and being like, why did I agree to take this move? And then in the moment, I'm like, I'm gonna eat shit. Hit the move, hit it, went, oh no, I'm okay, and then kick out at two. So yeah, no, I think I'm trying to think. I think that was definitely one of my favorite triple threat matches that I've done in Queensland so far. Done quite a few. It's hard to remember. I've wrestled so many matches. It's hard to remember every single one, but I do remember that one. I do remember that one because that was in the middle of the defection versus
Yep, defection. Yep.
BCW story that went to absolute shit. But yeah, I do remember. No, I'm really happy and proud of that match. Like, if anyone ever has any footage of the match, please send it my way so I can rewatch it.
And just a quick mention: Rebel selling in ring work. Just
Rebel was a talent that I wish got to flourish more. I wish she was able to. I kind of wish she was still around. Like you get people that come into the business, they have a run, but then they leave after a year or two. Especially and like it's really sad, especially with people like Rebel had so much potential. you know, if she ever comes back to wrestling, I'm the first one to put my hand up and be like, let's go. Because I wrestled her one-on-one as well in 2017 for the title, which originally I was meant to drop the belt to her.
There you go, Rebel. So if you ever come back, Josh Redfield's got first dibs.
Yeah,
Speaking of the Defaction versus BCW storyline,
Yep.
we're going to go straight to BCW Petition, and it's the Fields of Destruction, the 40-man Rumble match.
Oh, yeah. That absolute. That was actually a really fun match. It was a claw, but it was a really fun match to be.
It was.
Well, originally I knew that they wanted to do it because that was the AWA when they were still around. It was AWA, VPW, and BCW all coming together with their 3 rings to put on this big super show. We drew like 30 people to this super show, but it was still a fun time. But the whole point of it was meant to be like the original plan was like this Defaction, which was half of like the BCW roster, and then the other half of the BCW roster battle it out in this match. Didn't go completely. At that point, there was like only 6 members of Defection against the rest of the roster. I also was meant to wrestle the October show earlier. I was meant to wrestle Dallas Summers in a TLC match with the title on the line, but I had to pull out from the show because during that week, my partner gave birth to Willow. We had our first child, so I opted to stay home instead of flying up for the show. And then when I came back, I was face. So I was automatically a face, which kind of just killed the storyline in general. But that match was very interesting because no one followed the rules. You were meant to get thrown into the next ring, but a lot of people just jumped all the way to the end and just started kicking the shit out of each other. I know I brought in the exercise ball because everyone would bring in a weapon of their choice.
That exercise ball in 2016.
Because me and Crusher came in as the one entry as well. Because
I remember that. I think I was the first person you went to in the ring.
Yeah, probably. There was an exercise ball. I remember because I made it to the final 3. It was me, Della Summers, and Coyote were the final 3 in that match. And then I got Hadoukened by Coyote, and I got thrown over. And I didn't know how much force Coyote was going to put into throwing me over, but Coyote yeeted me, and I ended up hitting the guardrail. Yeah, if I was ever offered to do a match like that again, I'd be totally down for it, just for shits and gigs. Nothing serious about it, just shits and gigs, honestly, for real.
I think the fans had a really good time with that match as well. Like, people were bringing out pretzels, they brought out the catering from out back.
I reckon if we did it these days, we'd get bigger numbers crowd-wise as well, because this was almost 10 years ago. Like, Australian wrestling and like Queensland wrestling has grown in audience numbers, which is really cool.
100%. And, you know, well, we can get Venom's Ring again. We got Nightfall. So we just need a third promotion to join in and off to the races.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, no, I'd totally be down for it again. But I wouldn't, no storyline. Just be like, the winner gets a title match or like a trophy. Not a title match. Don't give them a trophy.
Or we could just let them choose which title they want to fight for between whichever promotion.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. Just like this. You cash in at any point.
Well, we'll get to that. Same year, I'm going to talk about Venom.
Yeah.
You would form the Suit Up Society with B. Lars and PJ O'Connor. So where did this gimmick originate from?
So it's funny because I was a really big heel at the time at Venom. I was a heel. PJ really wanted to do some tag team stuff, PJ O'Connor. And so I opted to do me and PJ as a tag team. And I was like, that's what we'll do. Me and PJ as a tag team. Let's get a tag team idea set in stone, and then we'll pitch it to VPW management. I do wish that I held off a little bit because I think there was still more that I could have done with my heel run. Because when I tried to announce that I've got a tag team partner coming, I was getting booed that loudly and getting trash thrown at me. So I reckon we had so much room to go with. So I kind of wish we pushed back the tag just so we could continue this heel run until it started to die off a bit. But literally, it was just me and PJ because I used to stay with PJ and be quite a bit during my early stages of coming to Queensland. But me and PJ came up with the idea of doing a Barney Stinson gimmick. basically based off Barney Stinson. I was doing my How I Met Your Mother rerun for like the fourth time. And yeah, we just do it. Why don't we do it as a gimmick? Suit Up Society. Like it's just suiting up, and we're basically Barney Stinson just in Australia, and like Barney Stinson's our idol. And that's pretty much where the idea came from. And then yeah, it kind of took off. The crowd actually really enjoyed what we were doing. We had fans that would come to not just Venom, but to other shows that we were a part of just because of the Suit Up Society gimmick. We had people rock up in suits at one point. It was really cool. We never won the Venom Tag Team titles, which is something that I'm very sad about. But I'm hoping if the stars ever align that we can come back and do that. I do know that we've had, because I ended up stopping from coming to Queensland for a couple of years. And because of that, that's when B ended up joining, because B to fill in my role because I wasn't there at the time. I think we've only ever done like 2 shows where all 3 of us are officially together as Suit Up Society. I know earlier this year there was plans originally at Venom for me to come back. The date clashes. Sadly, all my dates with Venom clash with other promotions that I'm working. And yeah, like I'm hoping to get a reunion at some point because I think it'd be really cool. So yeah, no, where it originated from was literally me and PJ just sitting on a couch going, why don't we just do one based off like How I Met Your Mother since we both like it? And yeah, that's where the gimmick was born.
There is a great photo somewhere online from Barb's photos, and I believe it is you with the bro code.
Yeah. There's also some really cool photos that Barb took, and it's me sitting on a table. There's one that I remember. It's like very early on when we started Suit Up Society. And I'm on the table. I'm like sitting in like the paint me like one of your French girls talking to one of the fans. And Cheryl, what's her name? Because I actually talked to her quite a bit afterwards as well. And she used to come to the shows all the time. Which was really cool. Hopefully I'll see her again one day. I'm hoping she'll come to the show. If I ever do Venom again, if I don't see Cheryl there, I'm really upset.
All right, Cheryl, you need to make your Venom return if you are still not going.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, that's the original idea. 2 guys just chilling.
2 guys with the bro code.
Yeah, pretty much. Literally pretty much.
I'm sure that tag team was legend. Wait for it.
Dairy.
From there, you would go on to form J2 with Jason the Crusher Cole.
Yeah.
And you would become the inaugural BCW Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, it was okay. So that was really cool because me and Jace were really close friends. Jace started wrestling, training before I did, but we instantly clicked when we started training, and we always talked about being like a tag team. And then eventually we got to do it in 2016. NAW, we debuted as J2 in a battle royal because storyline stuff had changed for me, and we were like, fuck, we'll just jump into the tag division. And then we brought it over with like defection in a sense, but then obviously branched out as J2 going into 2017, which is weird because like we were like, they wanted to do me and PJ winning the tag team titles, and I was like, I don't really want to win the tag team titles. So I was doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff with BCW at the time, and I was just like, I don't want to win the titles. I think it was Alex Shepard turned around and said, win the tag team titles. Like, do it, and then you can drop them later on. Let's just like we've got a story we want to tell. I'm like, okay, cool. But they swapped it for PJ for Jason. So me and Jason, we won the tag team titles. Did the whole tournament. And then we ended up getting our belts vacated because we couldn't make it to a show. At that point, there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So we never technically lost our championships. I know originally at one point it looked like we were going to win them back at the final show of the year, but then it was made non-title afterwards. So it was like, okay, because it would have been really cool to close off your first champions and your final champions. It would have been a really cool story. And then we did J2 for a couple more years until COVID, and then we came back. And J2 was a thing for a couple more months, but at that point I was ready to do some single stuff. So we kind of put J2 on the back burner for a little bit. And then me and Jason fell out of touch for a little bit. We had a recent reunion where we did me and Jason against Matt Graves and Kobe Reed. So that was a really cool J2 reunion. But yeah, no, The J2 is definitely a tag team that I'll always cherish. Not to say that any of my other tag teams have been like, but J2 has a special place in my heart because it was something that me and Jason wanted for so long. And even though we didn't get as many like accomplishments in the sense of like championships, it was really cool to team with like someone that I started the business with. And yeah, like I'll always be like I've always been open to a J2 run again, which would be really cool. Um, but the stars have to align for that because we're both in different areas. Like Jason's doing stuff over in DMD, all the deathmatch stuff, which is really cool. While I'm doing my single stuff.
I believe he's current tag team champion.
DMD tag team champs, yep. Yeah, which with House of Frost and Nomad, so which I think is really cool.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll do a tag team battle royal, and you can have J2 Sit Up Society.
I have too many tag team partners.
Do the 3 Faces of Folly.
I could literally just do like team with everyone. That'd be so good.
Because remember, the team's got to get eliminated, not the individual. Speaking of the pandemic, what are your views on wrestling prior to and after the pandemic in Australia?
It's hard to say because like, I think we've come a long way, especially after the pandemic. I think we were rejuvenated. I think a lot of people wanted to get back into the ring. So like a lot of people that really wanted to wrestle. I do believe COVID also we lost quite a few wrestlers because they had that break and their bodies were like, oh, this is great. And people also just lost the passion for it. I think, yeah, when we came out of, obviously the lockdowns were different for you guys up here, but in Melbourne, we had it pretty bad. We were constantly in lockdowns. Then we'd come out for like a week and then we're back in another lockdown. So that we had to deal with that quite a bit. Like a lot of companies, we had a couple of companies fold. NAW hasn't returned since. So I think we lost a lot of companies down there. We had a lot of new companies pop up since. Yeah, I think the passion when like coming out of lockdown, a lot of people just wanted to get back there and wrestle and give the fans something. Like I remember being like, I'm out of COVID. I just come back when COVID hit. So I took 9 months off in 2019, just come back, got the passion for it all back, and then we got hit with lockdowns. So for me, I was like, I want to get back in there. I'm going to show everyone what I can do. I feel like it was a lot for a lot of people as well. I think some of us were cruising pre-COVID. It's hard because I can only speak on my own experiences. I can't really speak on everyone else. I just think the major thing was we lost people. Obviously, there was other things that happened throughout COVID, where the speaking out movement happened as well. So we lost, we lost wrestlers from that. We lost wrestlers from like not wanting to come back just because they lost the passion. Everyone's lives changed through COVID and lockdown, whether it was in a big way or a small way. I think at the moment, COVID helped with a lot of people, like in the sense of just bringing the community back together and then pushing for it to grow and be better. Crowds, I've noticed for a lot of promotions, have grown since the COVID days. I think that's because everyone before COVID took everything for granted and then we lost it all. So you never know. Like obviously, I don't feel like we're gonna have another pandemic again for another like 50 to 100 years or whatnot. But you never know. Like no one thought we'd be in lockdown for a year. So yeah, I feel like a lot of us didn't take wrestling for granted as soon as we came out of lockdown.
And in 2019, we didn't see a pandemic coming.
So. No, God no. Sitting there and being like, this is happening over here. No, it's not gonna get here, and then it did.
And then like the next day,
a week, and it was all over the world. So like, yeah. I think COVID changed wrestling for the better as well. And not only that, I think when it comes to people feeling like unwell and stuff like that, no one's scared to say, I'm not feeling great, I need to pull out of the show. Because a lot of people will be really scared, they'd wrestle while not 100% or feeling like absolute shit because they're worried about their spots on the card. But now they go, I'm not feeling well, and everyone's like, that's fine.
It's going to affect the overall product if I bring that in.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
All right. Standardized Paradox, the formation, how did...
COVID, funnily enough, that was COVID. So SP, it's funny because a lot of people ask how SP started, and that was literally the seeds were planted. We were obviously in lockdown. I was friends with Shep and Sam, or 211, prior. Not as close as we are now, but we were wrestling the same shows. I had just done a storyline, not a storyline, but I was about to start a storyline with Shep, and I just finished a tag storyline with Sam, with Inmates and J2. And then we got hit with COVID, and we're like, okay, cool. And then we went into, it was my birthday, and Laura had set up a Zoom. Zoom was a thing. And she had set up like a little Zoom meeting between myself, Jace, Sam, and Shep, just as a like, happy birthday. You can't see anyone, but here's people for you anyway. And at that point, I was streaming on YouTube, and Sam was streaming on Twitch, and Sam invited all of us to come join him on stream, on one of his streams. So we did that, and then eventually me and Shep became more regular, and then Sam turned around and said, oh, well, all three of us are now going to do the same thing. And then, so we're running under the Inmate Gaming banner for a little bit, and then we were like, we need to change the name. So that's where we got Standardized Paradox, which is a mouthful now that you think about it. And then obviously we came out of lockdown, and we're like, let's transition this into wrestling. And that's pretty much what we did. By the end of 2021, we were basically in the formation of it. Because I became APW Breakout Champion in 2022. 2022. So, and at that point, we were a Standardized Paradox. So yeah, that was COVID. It was COVID. COVID brought us together to stream on Twitch, and then we transitioned that into wrestling, and here we are. It's probably my longest stable as well, and tag team that I've done. So, which is cool.
And you're a two-time Nightfall Tag Team Champion.
Yeah, two-time Nightfall Tag Team Champions with Shep, and a one-time AA Adrenaline Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion with Shep as well. But like, we've obviously got the Breakout title, that's to our name, the Pacific title to our name, the APW Legacy Championship to our name, the APW Heavyweight title to the name. Like, we've got championships and all of us have held that we bring to the name. Like, it's really cool. I have a lot of fun with it.
And 211's also had an opportunity at the Pacific Championship versus B-Lars, the current Nightfall heavyweight. Of Twitch, you also have your own Twitch channel, Josh Redfield.
Yep. No, we started that a year after we started SP. We all want to do our individual stuff. So yeah, we did that. So I've been doing that for, what's 2025 now? I've been doing that for 4 years by myself. Which, you know what, I give a lot of credit to Sam. Sam's always tech savvy. When I started doing my individual streaming, Sam was like a big help with all of it. And yeah, so I started doing that. I was only streaming like 3 times a week, and then I lost my job. So I went from 3 times a week to 7 times a week. Once a day I was streaming. And I was streaming like DVD majority of the time. Dead by Daylight was pretty much all I was streaming. It hasn't been until like recently where I've been like taking more of a step back, in the sense of like I've gone back to streaming like 3 times a week. Because weekends I was wrestling every Friday, every Saturday. So it was like no streams happening then. And then obviously I train on a Sunday if I don't have a show on a Sunday, because Sunday shows are happening a bit more with promotions. And then obviously I've started my new job, so like a lot of time is like now being sent out to different things in my life. So streaming, I wouldn't say it's taking a back burner, but it's more of I don't take it as seriously in the sense of like, I want to be a Twitch streamer, I'm going to make money off of this. It's more of I've got a couple of hours, here and here, so let's enjoy and play some games and talk to some people while doing it, and it's a hobby, so yeah, I have fun. Mainly DVD, but we watch along. We do wrestling watch-alongs. We watch old wrestling shows and stuff like that, and we play variety games. We played Split Fiction the last couple of weeks. We're playing Outlast 2 at the moment on a Monday. So it's as much as I'd love to say I'm a DVD streamer, I'm more variety now because I don't have enough days to play DVD 5 days a week and still have the other 2 streams. So yeah, the basis a little. So.
All right, and we're gonna circle back to wrestling now briefly.
Yeah.
So you are the current Adrenaline Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
What has this current reign and run in APW meant to you?
A lot. If I'm being honest, a lot. Like I've held quite a few championships now. Um, but like, so if we peel a curtain back, like we reveal everything. So last year I was in a storyline with Luke Resner, and that was the plan. I was going to end the year with a storyline with Luke Resner. But what happened is Kobe had just won the heavyweight title, and Kobe asked to do a little storyline with me before going on and doing the rest of his reign. So that's what we did. I think it's one of the best promos I did was between me and Kobe leading to the match. And then me and Kobe did our match at Legacy, and the reaction to that match was huge and amazing. To the point where they put me into originally planned it was meant to be Jason Crash, Adam Brooks, and Kobe for the title. But they put me in the match, and then they also decided that it's now time for me to win the title because that's what the crowd wanted. And it was one of those things I was never meant to, but because of how the crowd was reacting, they were just like, this is what we're going to do. So, yeah, for someone who's never meant to win the championship, to win it because of the crowd is something really big for me. It's not like the promotion was like, yeah, we want to give you the belt. It's like the crowd literally asked for this. Now, have I had some of the best matches during my reign? I would say 100%. There have been some matches where I've said, oh my God, that could have been better. But overall, the crowd reaction, the locker room reaction, and just my wrestling, I think has been like the past year for me, wrestling wise, I think I've come leaps and bounds. Like you can see a major improvement. And that's what I'm really happy with. And I think a part of that is the confidence I got from becoming the heavyweight champion. And yeah, it's probably my most important reign I've had so far.
And you've also got a match coming up at the anniversary show versus 211 for the title.
Yep, that's next week. I was meant to be triple threat too. Yeah, that's going to mean a lot to me. Two friends wrestling for the heavyweight title in the main event of our biggest show of the year. Like, that's going to be huge. Honestly, I plan on winning, but we'll find out next week. So yeah.
You'll have to if we ever do another interview, you have to bring the world title.
I will have to
Talk about what's behind us here, the Nightfall Pacific Championship.
Yeah, what about
you have often talked about executing option C.
Oh, absolutely. I plan on becoming a Nightfall heavyweight champion before the end of the year. That's the goal. I think it sounds. I want to obviously do as much as I can when I can, because eventually this career comes to an end. I think I've stated before, like I had a pretty fuck back a couple of years ago to where they said at any point it might get bad again, and that might be it for me. So I think since then I've been wanting to just do as much as I can, because at any time it could be over for me. So I came to Nightfall, won the tag team titles, won them twice. I came back this year, won the Pacific title, and that guarantees me an opportunity. And I said by the end of the year, I plan on being heavyweight champion because I plan on leaving a legacy for when I do have to eventually retire. I have a legacy here. And for Nightfall itself, it'd be really cool to sit there and go, who's been one of the best wrestlers and like to ever grace Nightfall? And it's like Josh Redfield. Josh Redfield did it all. So I've got two more things left to do, and that's the heavyweight title and the Aphrodite title. I know the Aphrodite title's held by Hilly, and it's not for people like me, but you never say never. But we're gonna get the heavyweight title first. So.
Hey, she did defend that title against Stephen Magnus recently.
Yes, she did. So who knows?
It's not a gender title?
No, I don't know. I don't know the rules or regulations. I just know that I won the title.
It's an intergender title.
Perfect.
You can take this from a Nightfall official.
Even better. So,
And also, you're welcome for being a two-time Nightfall tag team champion.
we're not even getting started on that one.
Yeah, I didn't fast count you at all.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. You know what the worst part about that? Okay, so there was a girl I was trying to impress, right? And for anyone who doesn't know, I'm in like an open poly in my personal life. So like that means you can date and then also go and see other people. Just FYI. So there was a girl here that I was trying to impress, and I was like, yeah, come to the show, like come watch some wrestling. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna drop the title in my first defense, and then I get here because I didn't know who was walking out with the titles, and I thought we were going over. So we rock up, and I'm told, oh, dropping the titles, and I'm like, I'm gonna look like the biggest loser. So I was like, you know what? I'll take him. And this guy fast counted. It was funniest part about it was not meant to be a fast count as well. But you managed to go, and I went, it wasn't me who picked up on it, it was the fans who picked up on it. And I was like, oh, we have to use this. And yeah, no.
We did. I blamed it on the cost of living and needing $50 from Gator.
Yep.
Now, would you like to know the outside circumstances of what happened during the in-ring? So I think there was a spot or two that was missed.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell because
the crowd can tell. So the oxygen was almost sucked out of the room.
Yeah.
And I believe there was Shark Boy or whoever had Dolphin. Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Shark Boy is from TNA.
Yeah.
Please do not stun me and give me a shell here. So anyway, he comes up and goes, you know, they want you to end the match. And I think just because the fans said like they were not in the match at all, I may have gone a bit too fast with the count.
Definitely, especially on the final moments as well, because that was the end slot as well. Was the roll up pin? There was a bit of a jankiness when it came to like the hot tag and stuff like that, and then a bit more after that, like to the point where I was like, we need to wrap this up as soon as possible. Which like it worked because like we got to the roll up spot really quickly because like even us as wrestlers, if you know you should be wrapping it up, and so that's what we were doing. And fast count happened, and I was like, okay, interesting. We can work with this. And then the crowd got really pissed off that we lost.
And those backstage interviews afterwards, where Shep and 211 would, they'd be courteous, and you're just like, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
There was some entertaining stuff.
Was that the same night I had to cut the same promo like 4 times, and I had to redo it because I accidentally dropped a swear? Probably.
Yeah, I think it was. Which. And a lot of other socials. You're also doing a Star Wars podcast?
Yes, Binary Sunset Sessions. Go check it out. YouTube, Spotify, all that cool stuff. Well, as of this recording, we haven't recorded a new episode yet because I've been flat out busy and my timetable's changed, so we're working it back in. But yes. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to nerd out here. I'm going to ask you a question. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the first 3 movies.
Yep.
Yep. Fans, originally back then the adults, because the films were made for us, our generation, had a problem with Jar Jar Binks. And I've got to ask you, and I think you know what question's coming.
Always do. Yep.
What do you think of the fan theory that Jar Jar Binks was a Sith Lord?
I think... I like the theory, but no. As much as I would love to be able to sit there and go, yes, I agree with the Darth Jar Jar theory. There's too many holes in that theory for it to work. Just simply because obviously you had Sidious, Anakin. His whole plan was to turn Anakin to the dark side. We had Maul as an apprentice, Dooku as an apprentice. To have multiple Sith at least at that point in time doesn't make sense, especially with Jar Jar Binks. Would it be cool? Absolutely. Having a Gungan Sith Lord, nice. But do I think it's got legs to stand on if you take a deeper look into it? No, sadly not. When Phantom Menace was around, you already had Palpatine, who was the apprentice of Plagueis, but then you had Maul, who was the apprentice of Palpatine. Palpatine kills Plagueis during the events of Phantom Menace. And then Maul also dies at the end of Phantom Menace. So, yeah, I think if you had 4 Sith Lords alive around that time, it just bit clanky. And like you never find out if that was the case, what was Jar Jar's plan the whole time, and there's no payout. And Jar Jar ends up getting absolutely brutally murdered anyway, so like in the Age of the Empire. So, I don't think Jar Jar would allow that to happen if he was a Sith Lord. So like I think you got like Glenn from like Walking Dead, eyes popping out and shit. I gotta read. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of that. So yeah, as much as it's a really cool theory, I don't think it has legs to stand on.
That's all good. And the next question is Josh Redfield really on OnlyFans?
Facts. 100% 10 facts, yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I've always been fascinated by like the adult industry in general. And I feel like the subject is still very taboo, which it's weird for a taboo subject of like adult industry stuff and like non-suitable work and like sex and stuff like that. For it still to be taboo, even though majority of us do it on a regular basis, especially these days and age where a lot of people just like hook up. Yeah, and then I decided to dive into like obviously OF became a big thing during COVID, so I dived into it to see what it's like, and yeah, I haven't looked back since. It's weird because originally I thought I was going to lose a whole bunch of stuff because of it when I like fully, because I kept it secret for quite a while, and then I was like, hey, you know what? It's here. I do it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to lose all my wrestling bookings, and it's not the case. A lot of people actually back me. They make jokes about it, like, but not in like a negative way. Um, Even people from America have come over that I've met and have made comments about it as well, but like definitely not in a negative way either. And it's really cool because people then actually have open conversations with me about that type of stuff, and they open up about their own like personal lives in that aspect and like things that might help them, and like just a healthy conversation about it without being judged, which I think's been like the biggest thing as well. It's not just about like smashing on camera or whatnot. There's like so much healthy conversations you can have with a bunch of people. But then, yeah, there's obviously people that have come up to me and they're like, hey, can we smash? And 9 times out of 10, I've actually said no. Because you would think, a lot of people think I don't have, like, I don't want to say standards, but you got to connect with me on a personal level for me to be, like, sexually attracted to someone. I can find people attractive, but, like, sexual attraction, I need to actually have some type of, like, connection with. I can't just randomly meet someone and have a one-night stand. Never done a one-night stand. It's something I hate saying. So I always want to do a one-night stand, but I actually can't physically bring myself to do it. So yeah, moral of the story is yes, I am on OnlyFans for $9.99 a month. So
there you go, $9.99 a month. The month, right?
yeah.
So the WWE Network.
Yeah, well, that's it.
What I like to end these interviews is a dream opponent and even a match stipulation if you like. It can be anyone, past, present, alive, past.
So anyone, okay. It's hard. Match stipulation, elimination chamber. Like straight off the bat, it is a match that I've always, when I first watched Elimination Chamber, I'd be really cool to be a part of. And for people who know me personally and know how I wrestle sometimes I do some of these stupidest bumps out of nowhere. I feel like they've been inside the Elimination Chamber. So Elimination Chamber is definitely one that I'm very, 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 if I ever get the opportunity to like one, yes. Opponents, it's hard. There's so many wrestlers. Like
there's so many.
First comes to mind is Shawn Michaels. I think a lot of people understand that a lot of my inspiration for like some of my moves is Shawn Michaels. Obviously, super kick for one. So Shawn Michaels is definitely one I'd like to wrestle. If I could wrestle like anyone that's currently wrestling in like a top fed, Seth Rollins is probably another one. And Roman Reigns, just because of the character, like Roman Reigns matches, you don't have to do for anything. You can tell a really good story. So yeah, they're pretty. I'd like to wrestle Bayley as well. Bailey is a very good character worker. I'd love to work with Bailey to just kind of get that full round character-based match. If we're talking like Australia, Jesus, I've wrestled a lot of people, but then there's so many people I haven't wrestled yet. But then it's like, who do I want to? There's so many. I wrestle Sam next weekend. I've wrestled Sam before. I've wrestled Shep before. I've wrestled Crusher before. I've wrestled B before. I'd like to do a rematch with B. If we're talking Queensland scene, I'd like to wrestle PJ one-on-one. I don't think we've done me and PJ one-on-one yet. I think that'd be a really cool storyline based.
Yeah, I think you've either been tag team or multi-man matches.
Another match I'd like to do from like the Queensland scene, myself versus Tim K.
Yes, that would definitely be a really good match.
When I first came to Queensland, I wasn't as confident as a wrestler as I am now. I reckon if me and Tim wrestled now, we could put on quite a bit of a banger. Lynx Lewis Jr. is another one I would love to wrestle. Melbourne scene-wise, Jason Crash. I've never wrestled Jason Crash one-on-one. I'd like to wrestle Jason Crash. I've wrestled Will. I've wrestled Kobe. I'd like to wrestle Adam Brooks one-on-one. I wrestled Adam Brooks in a triple threat match, but one-on-one would be really cool. Because Brooksy's taught me quite a bit when it comes to like just the 1%ers in wrestling. Mitch Waterman is another one I'd really like to square up in the ring again. We did tag matches back in the early days of NAW, so that would be
kind of a full circle moment.
Yeah. Just trying to think. Other than that, like there's I can name a whole bunch of people like I'd like to wrestle or wrestle again. Realistically, as long as I can tell a good story with them, whether that's a long story or a story in a match, that'd be cool. But yeah, if we're going like top of my like number one person in the entire like Shawn Michaels, I think Shawn Michaels and the Elimination Chamber would be really cool. Or more ladder matches because I love ladder matches. I've got a it's healing up now, but I have a bruise from a ladder. I did TLC last week, so I love ladders. It's a love-hate relationship. I love ladders, but I hate how they feel.
And that's how you won your second round of Nightfall Tag Team Championships as well.
What's how I won that?
Ladder match specialist over here.
Yeah, I've won 3 championships in ladder matches. That's insane.
Anyway, on that note, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So yeah.